Biden may be leading poll surveys, yet Trump might tilt scales on November 3rd. Well, the national polls in US are a good guide as to how popular a candidate is across the country as a whole, but they are not necessarily a good way to predict the result of the election. What happened in 2016 was an eye-opener. Democrats' candidate Hillary Clinton, in fact, was leading in polls and won nearly 3 million more votes than Donald Trump, but she still lost the elections. That's because US uses an electoral college system, and hence winning the most votes doesn't always win you the election. Joe Biden, though being projected in surveys as being ahead of Donald Trump in most national polls since the start of the year, yet none can rule out the possibility of repetition of 2016 poll results. Biden, who is sitting pretty with over 50% vote share in recent months and also established a clear 10-point lead on occasions, yet his victory cannot be guaranteed. This is in the wake of Trump narrowing down ever since he hit the campaign trail a couple of days back. He brought down the gap to 6%. His emotive speeches, especially his growing ties with India, or taking on rogue nation China, which destroyed world economy, appears to be getting acceptance from those neutral voters to change their opinion about Trump and his alleged follies, which include his failure to contain racism. Trump looks more than confident of his victory as he appears to be relying more on the 2 million Indian Americans to turn tables on his Democrat rival, Joe Biden.
Bring home our medical supply chains, and we will end our resilience. For bad things, we will go right after China. We will not rely on them one bit. We're taking our business out of China. We are bringing it home. We want our business to come home. We will continue to reduce taxes and regulations at levels not seen before. We will create 10 million jobs in the next 10 months. And it'll be higher than that. We will hire more police, increase penalties for assaults on law enforcement, and surge federal prosecutors into high-crime communities. We will ban deadly sanctuary cities and ensure that federal health care is protected for American citizens, not for illegal aliens. We will have strong borders. And I've said for years, without borders, we don't have a country. Don't have a country. Strike down terrorists who threaten our people and keep America out of endless and costly foreign wars.
Like in 2016 polls, which were far too less clear, and in the case of the prevailing poll surveys. In the past two, just a couple of percentage points separated Trump and his then rival, Hillary Clinton. As the election day neared in several states, the scales tilted in favor of Trump. As Mrs. Clinton discovered in 2016, the number of votes you win is less important than where you win them. Most states nearly always vote the same way, meaning that in reality, there are just a handful of states where both candidates stand a chance of winning. These are the places where the election will be won and lost and are known as battleground states. In the Electoral College system, which the US uses to elect its president, and each state is given a number of votes based on its population. A total of 538 Electoral College votes are up for grabs, so a candidate needs to hit 270 to win. The polls suggest Mr. Biden is ahead in Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, 3 industrial states where his Republican rival won by margins of less than 1% to clinch victory in 2016.
Here and now, I give you my word. If you entrust me with the presidency, I will draw on the best of us, not the worst. I will be an ally of the light, not the darkness. It's time for us, for we the people, to come together. And make no mistake, united we can and will overcome this season of darkness in America. We'll choose hope over fear, facts over fiction, fairness over privilege. I'm a proud Democrat, and I'll be proud to carry the banner of our party into the general election. So it's with great honor and humility I accept this nomination for President of the United States of America.
At the moment, polls in the battleground states look good for Joe Biden, but there's a long way to go and things can change very quickly, especially when Donald Trump is involved. In the battleground states where Trump won big in 2016 is where his campaign team will be most worried about. His winning margin in Iowa, Ohio, and Texas was between 8 to 10% back then, but it's looking much closer in all three at the moment. Added to it is the betting markets certainly not writing Trump off just yet. The latest odds have given him a 50% chance of winning on 3rd November, which suggests some people expect the outlook to change a lot over the next few weeks. But political analysts are less convinced about his chances of re-election. 538, a political analysis website, says Biden is favored to win the election, while The Economist says he is likely to beat Trump. The coronavirus pandemic has dominated headlines in the US since the start of the year, and the response to President Trump's actions has been split predictably along party lines. Support for his approach peaked in mid-March after he declared a national emergency and made $50 billion available to states to stop the spread of the virus. At this point, 55% of Americans approved of his actions, according to data from Ipsos, a leading polling company. But any support he had from Democrats disappeared after that, while Republicans continued to back their president. By July, the data suggested his own supporters had begun to question his response, but there was a slight uptick at the end of August. The virus is likely to be at the forefront of voters' minds, and one leading model produced by experts at the University of Washington predicts the death toll will have risen to about 260,000 people by election day. Yet, Trump may be hoping Operation Warp Speed, his administration's vaccine initiative, can produce an October surprise, a last-minute event that turns election upside down. The chief scientific advisor to the initiative has said it's extremely unlikely but not impossible that a vaccine could be ready to be distributed before 3rd November. It's easy to dismiss the polls by saying they got it wrong in 2016, and President Trump frequently does exactly that. But it's not entirely true. Most national polls did have Hillary Clinton ahead by a few percentage points, but that doesn't mean they were wrong, since she won 3 million more votes than her rival. Pollsters did have some problems in 2016, notably a failure to properly represent voters without a college degree, meaning Trump's advantage in some key battleground states wasn't spotted until late in the race, if at all. Most polling companies have corrected this now. But this year, there's even more uncertainty than normal due to the coronavirus pandemic and the effect it's having on both the economy and how people will vote in November. So all polls should be read with same skepticism, especially this far out from the election day. Interestingly, Trump's Modi card hopes to ensure Indian American voters may help him bring cheers. Who knows? This is MS Purthy for Orange News 9 TV.
For unbiased, accurate, and in-depth news analysis, watch Orange News 9 TV on YouTube. Subscribe. Press bell icon, like, comment, and share. Edited and promoted by seasoned journalist M.S. Shankar.